your wedding anniversary to Birdman.
Yes, Brian. Everyone calls him
Birdman. Is it weird that we call him Birdman?
A little bit, but people call him that Ostana. I say Brian.
So talk about how meeting him at this stage of your life has felt.
We've been friends for over 25 years. He used to go to all my shows. He was there for my baby shower.
Oh, my gosh.
That kind of thing. Nothing.
Hold on. Toni Braxton is finally opening up about the shocking rituals behind Cash Money's rise to fame. Turns out, Nicki Minaj and Birdman weren't exactly worshipping the same god as the rest of us. They were allegedly involved in some dark, satanic practices. Fans have long questioned why Toni even got involved with Birdman, and now it seems there were powerful forces at play, with rumors suggesting he used spells to keep her close. Remember all the divorce chatter that Toni and Birdman later denied? That coincided with the time Toni reportedly uncovered the sinister side of things and considered stepping away from the relationship. Their connection first made headlines in 2016 when Birdman began showing up at Toni's concerts and making surprise appearances on Braxton Family Values. By 2018, things escalated. He proposed with a $5 million ring, and they announced an engagement. But the wedding never happened as planned. Their relationship hit turbulence, partly because Toni was dealing with lupus. Birdman was still deeply involved in street life, and her finances were in disarray, including 2 bankruptcy filings. Rumors of a breakup swirled when they unfollowed each other on Instagram and deleted posts together, but both insisted they were still together. Then, things took an even stranger turn. Last year, it came to light that Toni and Birdman had secretly tied the knot. TMZ reports that the marriage actually happened in 2023, though they kept it under wraps. Toni later filed for divorce, but then called it off, leaving fans stunned and the details of their secret union finally public. Word on the street is that Toni's desire to walk away from Birdman came after a serious confrontation over the dark practices he was allegedly involved in behind her back. Many fans think this sheds new light on something rapper Juvenile hinted at years ago, when he spoke about Birdman approaching him with a suspicious record deal. During all the ups and downs with Birdman, Toni Braxton refocused on what truly matters to her.
Me, when I got the Cash Money, it was the weirdest thing. I knew they had all these artists on the label.
Right.
So I get to the label, and then all of a sudden, they let all
God, her family, her health, and her career. Meanwhile, the dark forces Birdman was allegedly tied to started taking a toll on him. Add his heavy substance use into the mix, and it wasn't surprising to see him nodding off during performances and even public appearances. Truly, you couldn't make this stuff up. Cash Money operated differently from other labels. Their rituals weren't just about symbolism. They demanded extreme loyalty from their artists. Remember all the chains, flashy gifts, and expensive perks Birdman showered his artists with? Those weren't just generosity. They were a constant reminder that he controlled them. Artists who resisted, like UNLV and Kilo G, reportedly faced serious consequences after trying to break free. Word on the street suggests Kilo ran into major trouble after challenging the label. It wasn't just the lesser-known artists who clashed with Birdman over his alleged demonic dealings. Big names like Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj also had their battles. Lil Wayne's feud began in 2014 when he accused Birdman of blocking his album Carter 5, claiming he felt trapped under Cash Money's control while owing millions in royalties and advances. Wayne sued the label for $51 million, eventually winning his freedom from the contract along with a $10 million settlement from Universal. They appeared cordial afterward, even seen together in clubs, but the tension never fully disappeared. During the Hot Boys reunion tour, Wayne and his crew even left the stage mid-performance while Birdman was still hyping the crowd. Nicki Minaj's struggles were largely behind the scenes. After refusing to participate in the label's ritualistic practices, she reportedly faced pressure and fear. Fans remember a live Instagram session where Nicki was in tears for no clear reason. Many assumed substance use, but rumors suggest her breakdown was tied to trying to escape Cash Money's dark influence. According to insiders, whatever forces Birdman was allegedly connected to weren't willing to release her easily. The fear of losing not only her career but also the safety of her loved ones reportedly weighed heavily on her. Of course, public reactions have been mixed. Some say Toni isn't a victim, claiming she knew the industry's dark side going in. Others argue that everyone, including Toni, was part of the ritualistic system. Now we want to hear from you. What's your take on Toni exposing Nicki and Birdman's alleged dark practices? Do you believe this could be the real reason behind Cash Money's decline? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click here to watch another wild video about this drama. The music world has been shaken to its core, and it all comes down to shocking revelations from one of the industry's most respected voices, Toni Braxton. Known for her soulful voice, her incredible career, and her ability to survive the harsh realities of the entertainment world, Toni is now speaking out about events behind the closed doors of one of the most powerful record labels in hip-hop history, Cash Money Records. For decades, Cash Money, led by Birdman, dominated the rap game with a roster of legendary artists, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Juvenile, and countless others. Fans knew about the glitz, the gold chains, the multi-million-dollar deals, and the flashy lifestyle. But what few knew was the dark undercurrent that ran through the label, a side of the business that involved manipulation, fear, and, according to insiders, deeply disturbing rituals. Toni Braxton, who has navigated the treacherous waters of fame herself, has claimed that she witnessed and became aware of some of these practices firsthand. What began as casual rumors among fans and industry insiders has now transformed into her telling the story openly of how Birdman allegedly involved some of his biggest stars, including Nicki Minaj, in occult rituals tied to the label's power and success. It all reportedly started during Toni's alleged engagement and secret marriage to Birdman. While their relationship was under intense public scrutiny, Toni noticed strange behaviors and rituals that Birdman conducted privately, often late at night or in isolated locations. Sources close to her suggest that these practices went far beyond typical entertainment industry eccentricities, veering into something she describes as dark and manipulative. One of the most shocking claims Toni made is that Nicki Minaj, one of the most celebrated female rappers of all time, was allegedly sacrificed, in some capacity as part of these rituals. Now, before jumping to conclusions, it's important to understand the context Toni describes. These rituals weren't about physical harm in the traditional sense, but rather symbolic acts meant to bind artists' loyalty to the label and to whatever forces Birdman was invoking. The idea, as Toni explained, was that participating in these ceremonies gave the label and Birdman unprecedented control over their talent, control that often came at great personal and spiritual cost. Toni's perspective is particularly fascinating because she herself was entangled in this environment. During her time with Birdman, she claims to have resisted being drawn fully into these dark practices. While some artists went along, motivated by fame and fortune, Toni's focus remained on her own spirituality, her health, and her family. She says this ultimately created tension between her and Birdman, as he allegedly expected compliance from everyone in his inner circle. The stories Toni recounts paint a picture of Cash Money as a label that thrived not just on musical talent, but on strict loyalty enforced through fear. She detailed how Birdman often showered his artists with gifts, chains, luxury cars, expensive jewelry, not merely as rewards but as constant reminders of their indebtedness. Toni described these gifts as symbolic shackles, a way to keep artists psychologically and spiritually tethered to him. Those who resisted reportedly suffered. Toni referenced names like Kilo G and UNLV, artists who tried to push back against the label's control and, according to insiders, faced serious repercussions for it. While these claims are difficult to verify fully, they align with a larger pattern Toni describes, a system in which power, fear, and ritualized loyalty dictated the careers and lives of artists. Even some of the label's biggest names weren't immune. Lil Wayne, for instance, had highly publicized clashes with Birdman over his contract and creative freedom. In 2014, Wayne filed a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money, claiming Birdman had withheld money and blocked the release of the Carter V. While publicly framed as a legal and financial dispute, Toni suggests that these conflicts also had spiritual undertones, as the label's rituals demanded unwavering compliance. Nicki Minaj's experience, according to Toni, was equally harrowing. Behind the scenes, she allegedly faced pressure to participate in these dark rituals. Toni recalls instances where Nicki seemed emotionally distressed and isolated, even appearing on social media live streams crying for no apparent reason. While the public often attributed this to stress or substance use, insiders claim that Nicki's tears were linked to her attempts to escape the spiritual and psychological hold the label had over her. Toni emphasizes that what makes these allegations particularly disturbing is the alleged blend of real-world control and symbolic sacrifice. She explains that these acts weren't just for show, they were designed to manipulate and bind artists' careers to the label. This explains why, according to Toni, those who resisted or tried to leave often found themselves blocked professionally, financially, or even socially.